Hello, my friends. My daughters have been reading and enjoying a series of books called the Mysterious Benedict Society. And in this book, there is something called the emergency. The emergency is caused by a single man, and he is basically manipulating the media in order to create very alarmist headlines. In the book, they're using subliminal type of messaging. But the main concept is that through this messaging, he's creating a state of anxiety and fear in the people of the world. And using that state of fear, he's aware, of course, that it's very easy to control people once they are living in a state of anxiety and fear. Now, it doesn't take a whole lot to draw some, let's say, comparisons between today's world and our experience of it and the emergency portrayed in that book. In reality, there's nothing going on wrong that is super dissimilar to things that have been going on in the past in this book. It's just the messaging that has changed. We are all aware that there are constantly wars, there's constantly all the ills of the world. They're there. I don't need to go into a huge list for any of us, do I? And they are there. Do we see them and do something about them? Or do we see them and tune into more and tune into more and just sit on our couch watching more and more and allowing that to do what it does to our minds? Now, this ties in with what's been happening on my YouTube channel, because as you probably know, I've elected to do a 3-month experiment and run ads. So far, it's been interesting. I was told that views would go up. Views have gone up about 33%. And someone told me, tell me if this is true for you as well, that they were never getting notifications of my videos. Now they're getting notifications whenever I publish a video. We are making a small amount of money from it, but even a small amount is significant for our family. These things are part of the experiment. But you know me, of course, this experiment is going to run much deeper. And those deeper lessons have to do with a number of YouTubers who I've watched in the past who I don't really watch anymore. And the reason is that since the beginning of the pandemic, a number of these channels have switched from what I thought was giving a lot of good advice to instead moving into predictive type of videos. One was a financial channel, which gave a lot of good advice, and now the person is almost every video has to do with the Great Depression that's coming, the systemic collapse that's coming, the hyperinflation that's coming. Interestingly, this person is given a number of timelines. 30 days from now, this will happen. It didn't happen. And yet, people still keep coming to these predictive videos. And in fact, I would wager that if we could look on their stats, so in the YouTube stats, if you have a channel, you know this. If you don't, you may not know this. That I can go in there and I can look at each video and I can see how much money through the ads that video is earning me. And in that way, I can start to look and find patterns. So my guess is that these people started to create some predictive videos. They saw the money go up on these videos and started to learn that if they just publish predictive videos, they're going to make a lot more money. And I am positing this out of something we probably should not be doing a lot of, which is projection. So projecting my own thoughts or emotions onto others. Now, that being said, I'll tell you why I'm projecting. Ever since I started running ads, I've noticed this. Some videos earn more money than other videos. There is a temptation to then make the videos that earn more money. They may not be the videos that do the most good for people. They may not be the videos that people engage with the most. They may not be the ones that get me having emails come in saying, wow, this video changed my life. But they do earn more money. So when I produce a video, now this weighs inside of my mind, doesn't it? Should I make a video that is going to make more money? Or should I make this video that I think might be really helpful to people? And that is, I think, showing us one of the main structures in our system and why we are creating our own emergency. Now, unlike the book, where it's one man creating the emergency, and by removing that one person, the emergency was over. Here, there are many, many people contributing to it and being party to the temptation. I think it has 3 layers. It starts up at the top of the system that we're using. So the system we're using, if I can create a high degree of emotional response in somebody, then I'm going to tend to have people coming back to that thing. So people gravitate towards these things that create a high emotional response, whether this is a video game or a newscast or YouTube video. If I create a high emotional response, I will probably get people coming back. It's the way the system is built, because more coming back equals more money. So higher emotional response or reaction that I can create equals more money. Now, a very positive video that is going to help people to break a habit or something, this may create an emotional response, maybe a positive one, but it's not as powerful perhaps as some other emotional responses. The highest ones would be things like fear, things like a deep sense of wonder, whoa, amazement, a visceral kind of fascination, stuff that makes me feel unsettled and stressful, anxious inside, very close to the fear that I spoke of initially there. So these are some examples of high emotional states. And if I create media that creates those high emotional states, I bet I could earn more money. Now you see it comes down to the next layer, the people that are creating the media. Because now the people that are creating the media could see themselves. There would be other ways to see this. We could see ourselves as cooperative, but we could see ourselves as competing with each other for viewers, for their time, for their attention. And when I see myself as competing, then it is very tempting for me to do something that will have a high emotional response, that will bring more people, that will bring more money. And then the final part is the viewer, the person watching it. What choices are we going to make? Are we going to go towards some of those predictive videos that just get us into a fear state and make us want to go back tomorrow to see what's the next thing this person is going to predict? What's the next bad thing that's going to happen in the emergency? Or am I going to choose something that's going to enrich my life? So now we see we have a system. We could try to change that system, but the system's pretty ingrained. We have the creators, the media creators. What decisions are they going to make? Are they going to play party to this? Are they going to say, I'm going to take dollars in exchange for putting anxiousness and fear into other people's minds? Are they going to see that that is a good trade? Or are they going to see that no amount of money is worth doing that kind of harm to someone else? And then we have the viewers. Each of us, what we go and we intake. Are we going to choose the things that give a softer emotional response but are healthier for us? Or are we going to choose the things that make us almost addictively come back for more? You can see this is very similar to diet and what we eat. Are we going to choose healthy foods that maybe don't blast our taste buds, but make us feel good, energized, healthy, vital? Or are we going to choose foods that blast our taste buds, regardless of how it makes us feel afterwards? So interestingly, running ads has helped me through noticing the temptation, and hopefully you're seeing not falling prey to it at all and just sticking to the wholesome stuff that we love putting up. So for me, now I can see through this running of ads how it can create a temptation as a creator to do that, to make that trade for a little bit more money, which could keep growing, growing, growing if I did a different approach than the wholesome approach that we take right now. And that's a temptation that maybe will affect many of us. The creators of the system itself, the creators of the content, and the consumers of that content, the viewers, whatever that content is. I'm sure you've realized this is not just about media. We can speak to this in a much larger context. That brings us down to you and me. What choices are we going to make? Will we make the responsible choices? The ones that do good for ourselves, for the people around us, for our larger community? Will we contribute a drop into that wholesomeness? Or will we contribute a drop today into that emergency? Which will we choose? Thank you for watching as always. Share your thoughts down in the comments. I cannot wait